Hello everyone, so today I'm going to show you how to make this little bean bag. I wasn't sure how to call it, so I called it a bean bag, but essentially it's a handbag. It is around 21 centimeters or 22 centimeters, and it is around 8.5 inches, and its height is about 5 inches, which is around 14 centimeters. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you guys the materials I used to make this little handbag. To make this bag, I'll be using the Friends ribbon yarn that I got from Hobby. It says to use a 12mm hook, but I personally am going to use a 6mm hook because I prefer to make tighter stitches so the bag isn't too flimsy. So as I said, I'm going to use a 6mm hook by the brand Prim, and I'm also going to be using a couple of stitch markers. You're also going to need some scissors, and that's pretty much it. So let's get started with the tutorial. I unraveled one of my projects, so that's why my yarn is a little like twisted, but yeah. The actual yarn, whenever you first use it, is not twisted like that. It looks like this. To make this bag, we're going to start by making a chainless foundation. So take your tail of yarn and measure 1 meter. Up, that's too much here. About 1 meter. So here on my right, I have the tail of yarn, and now I'm going to do a slip stitch. So take your 2 fingers and roll it on your 2 fingers, just like this. You can then take your hook and pass it underneath here and grab the yarn over here. You can turn your fingers and take them off and pull, and then pull again to adjust it to your hook. Like this. And again, on my right hand here, I have the 1 meter tail of yarn. So to make a chainless foundation, you're going to take the tail of yarn here, and you're going to pass it over your hook like this. This creates a little V, and then the yarn over here on my left is the yarn that's still attached to the skein. You're going to yarn it over your hook and pull it through. So this is your first chain if you want. So now we have the little tail of yarn that's on the bottom here, and on the top is the yarn that's attached to your skein. So we're going to make 19 like this. So this is 1. Again, to continue, we have to yarn over with the tail of yarn, and then with the tail that's attached to your skein, you're going to yarn over and pull through the 2 loops like this. So that's 2. Again, take your tail of yarn and yarn over, and then take the tail of yarn that's attached to your skein, yarn over, pull through. So that's 3. Tail of yarn, yarn over, take your tail that's attached to your skein, yarn over, pull through. That's 4. 5. 6. And so continue this until you have 19. So I'm going to show you one last time. So this is your little tail, yarn over, and then this is the tail that's attached to your skein, yarn over and pull through the 2 loops like this. When you're done, you should have something that looks like this. And before we continue, we're going to place some stitch markers. So when you look at your work, the chainless foundation has sort of 4 sides. So this is the front like this, and if you turn it, there's little braids on this side and on the other side too. So this is the front. Turn it a little to the right and put a stitch marker on the last little chain that you made. Not sure how to call these. So put a stitch marker on the last one you've done, and also on the second one starting from the beginning. So this was the first one we made. Put a stitch marker on the second one. It's not on this one, it's on the second one here. like this. And so now to continue, we're going to chain 1. We're now going to start round 1. We're now going to insert our hook in the middle of the little braids. We're going to insert our hook in the middle here, in the middle here, and we're going to work with half double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook in the middle of the braid here, yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. So this is our first half double crochet. We can put a stitch marker there so we know that this is our first stitch, like this. So that's 1. We're going to make 17 more, and we're going to be left off with 1 chain at the end. So again, you're going to yarn over, insert your hook in the middle of the braid, and you have to go through both little loops. So in the middle and then through both little loops on the side. Yarn over, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over and pull through all the loops. So that's 2. Yarn over, insert your hook in the middle of the braid, and you have to go again through both loops. Yarn over and pull through. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all of them. We now have made 3 half double crochets. Yarn over, insert your hook in the middle of the braid, through both little loops, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. So do this until you have completed a total of 18 half double crochets. Alright, so here I have completed 18 half double crochets, and we're left off with 1 little chain at the end. And on the last chain, we're going to increase. We're going to put 3 half double crochets in the same chain. So yarn over, insert your hook in the middle of the little braid, through both loops, yarn over and pull through. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all of them. And now we're going to put a stitch marker there. And the reason I put so many stitch markers is that I don't like counting. So you'll see that when we reach the next step, whenever we're going to reach a stitch marker, that means we have to increase. So that's 1. We're going to put 2 more in the same little hole. So that's 2 and 3 in the same hole. So here we have 3 half double crochets in the same hole. We started here and we're going to go around and finish here. So at the beginning I put this stitch marker here so you don't get confused on where to put your hook next. So this is the next stitch you have to put your hook in. So you can take off this stitch marker, and now we're going to make 17 half double crochets. Oh, but before that, just put a stitch marker on your last stitch here of the increase. So here are the 3 stitches from the increase. And now we're just going to continue by making 17 half double crochets. If you turn your work a little like this, you see that there is also little braids on this side, and that's where we're going to insert our hook. So you're going to yarn over and insert your hook there through both little loops, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through. So make 17 half double crochets like this, and this side is a little more tight than this side, than the first one, but it's going to get easier on the next rows. So yarn over and insert your hook again, Alright, so here I have done my 17 half double crochets and I have reached my stitch marker here at the end. We're now going to take it off and make an increase. We're going to make 2 half double crochets in this last chain. So yarn over and insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. Then you're going to put a stitch marker there. And again, yarn over, insert your hook in the same hole, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And to finish off this round, we're going to slip stitch in our first stitch. So take off the stitch marker, insert your hook through both loops, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. So now at the end of round 1, you should have a total of 40 stitches all around. To start round 2, we're going to chain 1. So yarn over and pull through. And now we're going to start by making an increase. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch of the round, which is the same stitch that we've just slip stitched in. So yarn over, insert your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And again in the same stitch, make an increase. So here we have 2 half double crochets in the first stitch and put a stitch marker there. We're now going to make 17 half double crochets, and so between the 2 stitch markers you should have 17 half double crochets. So that's what I was telling you earlier. I put these stitch markers so I don't have to count like 17, so I know that when I reach this stitch marker I'm going to have to increase. So start making your 17 half double crochets, and to do that I do insert my hook through both little loops like this. So I'm done making 17 half double crochets and I've reached my stitch marker here, which means we have to start increasing. So I'm going to take this off. In this next stitch we're going to increase. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And we're going to put back our stitch marker there in our first stitch of the increase, and we're going to make another half double crochets in the same hole. Now on this next stitch we're just going to make a regular half double crochet. And now on this stitch we're going to put an increase. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. So this is one and another one in the same stitch. Oop. 2. And put back your stitch marker on this stitch like this. And now we can simply continue and make 17 half double crochets. So again, going through the 2 little loops like this. Now that I'm done making my 17 half double crochets, I have reached my stitch marker here and we're going to increase. So take it off. And we're going to put 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. So this is 1 and we're going to put back this stitch marker. And 2. in the same stitch. And we're left off with one last stitch here, and we're going to put one regular half double crochet in there, like this. And now to end round 2, we're going to make a slip stitch in our first stitch. And be careful, the stitch where this stitch marker is not the first one. The first one is the one right before. So in here, so we're going to yarn over and pull through. So this is the end of round 2. You should have a total of 44 stitches all around. To start round 3, we're going to chain 1. And this is the last round where we're going to make increases. So we're going to increase 2 times. We're going to put 2 half double crochets in the first stitch and 2 half double crochets in the second stitch. So this is 1, and we are going to put a stitch marker here on our first stitch, and 2. Now we're going to do the same thing on this second stitch. We're going to put an increase, so 1 half double crochets and 2 half double crochets in the same stitch. Since we're not going to be increasing on the next rows, you don't need to put a stitch marker there anymore. And now we're gonna go ahead and make 17 half double crochets. Alright, so I'm now done making 17 half double crochets. I have reached my stitch marker here. So now here we're going to make increases. We have 5 stitches here. We're going to increase in the first, in the second. We're not going to increase in the third, and then we're going to make increases in the fourth and in the fifth. So take off your stitch marker and make 2 half double crochets in that stitch. And the second one in the same stitch, so that's an increase. And now we're gonna go to the next. We're gonna do 2 half double crochets in the same stitch, 1 and 2. Now on this stitch we're just gonna make a regular half double crochet, so just 1 half double crochet like this. And on the remaining 2, we're going to put 2 half double crochets in each stitch. One and 2. And one last increase here. 1 and 2 in the same stitch like this. And now we're gonna go back and do 17 half double crochets here. So I'm gonna do my 17 half double crochets, and I'll see you guys when I'm done. Alright, so I just made my 17 half double crochets and I have reached my stitch marker. And now we're going to increase again. So we're going to put 2 half double crochets in this stitch, 2 half double crochets in the next, and then to finish the row we're just going to make 1 regular half double crochet. So 1 and 2 in the same stitch. Again, we're gonna go on the next one, 1 and 2, and now we're left off with one last stitch. We're going to make 1 regular half double crochet. And now, because this is our last stitch, we're going to put a stitch marker there. Now to end off round 3, we're going to make a slip stitch in our first stitch, which is where that blue stitch marker was. insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through. So when you're done with round 3, you should have 52 stitches all around. Chain 1 to start row 4, and now it's going to be pretty easy. From row 4 to round 12, we're just going to make 52 half double crochets in each round, so we're no longer going to increase. So you're basically just going to have to make half double crochets in each stitch. So make sure that at the end of every row you have the right amount of stitches, and also the first stitch you have to make is in the same stitch that you've slip stitched in. So when you're done with your first stitch, just put a stitch marker there to know that this is the first stitch. So I just made one half double crochet. We have 51 more half double crochets to make. So it's really as easy as that. So just continue that all around, and I'll show you one last time how to end off a row and start a new one. All right, so here I have one last stitch to make before I'm done with round 4. And to close off round 4, we're going to slip stitch in our first stitch, but first let's put our stitch marker in the last stitch. All right, so we're going to take off this stitch marker and do a slip stitch. So insert your hook through both loops, yarn over, and pull through. So this is the end of round 4. We're going to chain 1, and we're just going to repeat that until we reach row 12. And don't forget, row 12 is the total amount of rows of the whole bag. We have 3 rows of increases, and then we have 9 rows where we only do 52 half double crochets without increases. All right, so I'm going to continue with the rows, and I'll see you guys when I'm done making all of my rows. So here I completed the 12 rows, and I'll show you how to end off the body of the bag. So when you're done making your last stitch, just pull some yarn and cut it. Now take a needle and take off the stitch marker from your first stitch of the round, and pass your needle through both loops here, like this. And then pass your needle in the back loop of your last stitch. So this is my last stitch. I'm gonna pass my needle only in the back loop, like this. And then you can weave in the end, either now or at the end, whatever you prefer. So now we're ready for the next step. The next thing you want to do is lay your work flat and then look at it from above. You can see that there is a stitch right in the middle, and right in the middle in the other side too. So to show you, I'm gonna put a stitch marker on the stitch that's in the middle on each side. So not counting the stitch where the stitch marker is, we're going to count 10 stitches on this side and 10 stitches on this side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then I'm going to count 10 stitches on this side, and be careful, do not count the little sort of slip stitch we've made here to close the round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So in between these stitch markers, you should have 5 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we're all good. So basically you have 21 stitches here, 5, 21 and 5. So we can take off the stitches on the extremities like this, and now we're going to start making the handles. So I'm going to start on the left side here. I'm going to take off my stitch marker and insert my hook where that stitch marker was, and I'm then going to pull some yarn. So take a new strand of yarn and pull it through, and then yarn over, insert your hook again, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. If this helps you, you can always put a stitch marker on your first and last stitch. So we're just gonna continue making half double crochets until we reach the other stitch marker. So continue making half double crochets until you reach the other stitch marker there. Here I have one last stitch to make, so I'm going to take off my stitch marker and make my last half double crochet. So that was row 1 for the handles. Now we're going to turn our work, and we're not going to chain. We're now going to start decreasing. To do that, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull through, and then we're gonna yarn over again, insert our hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and we're going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on our hook. So this is a decrease. You can put a stitch marker there to know that this is your first stitch. After you're done making your first decrease, make 17 half double crochets, and when you're going to be done making 17 half double crochets, you're going to be left off with 2 stitches, and in these 2 last stitches we're going to make a decrease. So go ahead and make 17 half double crochets. Alright, so I'm done making my 17 half double crochets and I have 2 stitches left, so we're going to decrease again. Yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then we're going to take off this stitch marker, and then you can yarn over, insert your hook in. So here it's going to be a little harder to see it, but it's here underneath these 2 little loops. Like this, yarn over, pull through, and pull through all the loops on your hook. So we're basically going to repeat these steps until we have 3 stitches left. So we're going to turn our work again, and we're once again going to decrease on the beginning and on the end. Yarn over, insert your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, insert your hook on the second stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. And now we're going to make 15 half double crochets. So I'm now done making 15 half double crochets, and I'm going to decrease again. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and take off your stitch marker, yarn over. Oop, this one is pretty small, but it's here. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. So we've now completed 3 rows. So I'm going to show you guys one last time how to start a row and end the row. So whenever you're done with one row, you're going to turn, and you're going to decrease on the first 2 stitches and on the last 2 stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, insert your hook on the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. You can now go ahead and make 13 half double crochets. Now that I'm done, I have 2 stitches left. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and then yarn over, insert your hook again in the last stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all the loops on your hook. And then you're going to turn again and then decrease on the first 2 stitches and on the 2 last stitches. I'm going to put up the written pattern on the screen right now so you can pause the video. So I'll see you guys when I'm done decreasing. Alright, so here I'm done decreasing. As you can see, I have 3 stitches left. So 1, 2, and 3. And now the last step is to make 3 rows of 3 half double crochets. So chain 1, turn your work, and make 3 half double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So that's row 1. We're gonna make 2 more. So chain 1, turn your work, 1, 2, 3. That's 2. Chain 1, and we have one last row to make. 1, 2, and 3. So when you're done with your 3rd row, you can chain 1 and pull the yarn. Either pull some yarn and cut it, but mine actually finished, so I'm just gonna pull it. So now we're done with the first handle, and now you can go ahead and do the exact same thing we just did here on the other side. So if you don't remember, you can just play back the video. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. Alright, so I've done the 2 handles, and now we're going to join them at the top. So what I do is I take these 2 parts and I flip them. So again, I take them and I flip them like this, and I come and place them together this way. Now you can see that there's little braids, so here and here. We're going to make slip stitches. So I'm going to insert my hook in the loop over here and in the loop that's closest to us on the other side, which is here. So like this, and then insert your hook here and in the loop closest like this, and the 3rd one would be here and here. So insert your hook in the loop here and in the loop on the other side here, and grab a new tail of yarn and pull it through. Then insert your hook on the back loop here and in the loop on the other side here, yarn over and pull through. And we're going to do the same thing with the 3rd stitch. So insert your hook here and in the front loop here, yarn over and pull through like this, and then you can pull some yarn and cut it. So you can just pull it to tighten it. And now when you turn it, the 2 sides are stitched together. And don't worry, I know there's a little gap here, but we're going to clean it up. So what you should do now is just clean up a little bit all of these tails. So I'm gonna do some knots and weave them in so they're out of the way. It already looks a little better, so I'm now going to weave them in. Alright, so now that I'm done weaving in all of the ends, this is what it looks like. And if you like it like this, you can definitely leave it like that. But I prefer to clean up a little bit the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put single crochets all around to make cleaner edges. So what I'm going to do is basically just put one single crochet per row. So I'm going to start on the top here. So what I do is that I take another tail of yarn and I just like put my bag like this in front of me. And then I go in the middle and I just insert my hook anywhere there's a place. So here there's like a little hole, so I'm just going to pass some yarn through like this, and then I'm going to chain one. And now to make the single crochets, there's not a specific way I make this. I just try to find a little loop that's close to the sorry, my voice is like cracking, I don't know why. I just try to find a little loop that's close to the edge to make the stitches as straight as I can. So for example, here on this first row, there's a little loop here that's coming out, so I'm just going to insert my hook there and make a single crochet. And because this is our first stitch, we should put a stitch marker there just to know that this is our first stitch. Then if I move on to the next row, I have a little loop pointing out like this, so I'm just going to insert my hook there and make a single crochet. Then on the third row here, I have a little loop also over here. I'm just going to insert my hook there. So as I said, there's no really a specific place I put my stitches in. I just try to be as close as the edge as possible. And now we're getting into the decreasing part. So I'm going to put my first stitch in here. And then there's like a little loop here. I'm just going to put it there. Then there's this little loop again in the closest loop here of the edge. And I pretty much just do this all around to make a cleaner edge. So as you can see, it's a lot straighter than here, but again, that's just personal preference. So when you get here on the flat part, you can just simply insert your hook in the stitches. So you can make the 5 single crochets very easily here. And then we're just going, and then we're back just making single crochets anywhere that we can. So there's a little loop here. Alright, so here I'm gonna do my last stitch. I'm gonna place it in here. So here's my last stitch. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pull some yarn and cut it. And you can now take your needle, and we're going to do what we've done before. So we're going to take off the stitch marker from our first stitch and pass our needle through both loops like this. And then you can just pull it a little bit and then pass your needle through the back loop here like this and pull again to make it tighter. Then you can make a knot with the other tail and weave them in, and you're going to be done with the first side. So you can go ahead and repeat the same thing on the other side. Alright, so here I'm done crocheting the two sides, so I'm officially done with my little bean bag. I don't know how to call this one. I feel like it looks like a little bean bag, so I'm gonna call it a bean bag. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed making this bag. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you liked this video, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye.